you've had several businesses, but
Man, how many questions do I have?
Do you like the interview?
Yes.
All right, then we can keep going. So, like I said, Startup Grind community is a community for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. The purpose of the community is to teach and bring towards smaller entrepreneurs, or not only smaller entrepreneurs, but the general field of entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs that have made it, are, let's say, at a bigger stage of that journey and can share what they have thought themselves and what they went through. It's a very long list. So I will keep it short. Today's guest, most definitely, his name doesn't need an introduction, so I will just give the mic to Lorand, and please ask him to just share a couple of words about himself. But before we do that, please put your hands together for Lorand and saying thank you. So Lorand, a couple of words about you, and then I'm going to jump into those questions.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to know how many of you know my story and my journey until now. So, who is the first time at one of my presentations or interviews or whatever?
Oh wow.
Okay, half and half, it's okay. So, I don't know how far should I go back, but I was born in Romania, I was raised in Romania, but in a small village near Reghin, and until the age of 10 I didn't know how to speak Romanian, because the whole village was Hungarian. We had just one Romanian in the village, the policeman, but he was speaking also Hungarian. So my Romanian teacher was Hungarian, so you can imagine she did a great work. Then when I was 10, we moved to Zalău. My father started to work as a pastor, as a priest, and in that period I was pretty much mocked by my colleagues, because they were calling me names like Bozgor, like a guy from village, because I couldn't speak Romanian well enough. So I tried to learn as fast as possible Romanian, just to make sure that they don't notice that I'm Hungarian. Then I came to Cluj when I was 14 years old to high school, and then I was mocked because I was coming from Provincia. And again, I tried to get over it and get better in everything, just to not be mocked. Then I went to university, and I was mocked that I was coming from a theological high school. So he said, "Oh, you are a priest and you want to become..." I was studying European studies. I don't know if still exists this university, because it was, I don't know what was it for. So at that point, maybe it's better now, but at that point I don't know. So I was mocked at that point too, and when I was second year in European studies and first year in psychology, because my parents told me that I'm smart and I should do 2 universities, so I did 2 universities. I mean, I started 2 universities. Psychology was the second one, and when I was second year in European studies, first year psychology, I decided to leave Romania because I missed a lot of exams, and I was ashamed of my parents to tell them that I won't pass the year. So, and I'm coming from a poor family. They were making a lot of sacrifices to keep me in Cluj. So I was ashamed to tell them that I didn't pass the year, so I just left the country to Portugal. I borrowed 150 euros from my parents. They had to borrow that money too, because they didn't have it. So, and then I left to Portugal with the bus for days, with a suitcase, with some clothes. And I started to work as a gardener in a small company in Porto. And from there, during 3 years and something, I changed between 12 or 13 jobs in 3 companies. I did all my, I don't know, anything that you can imagine. I was a cook, I was a help for a cook, I worked with children, I worked as a secretary, assistant, gardener, everything. And then after 3 years I managed to be hired as a personal assistant for a business coach in a company called Action Coach, which still until today is the largest business coaching company in the world. This was a franchise, so I was working with one of the franchised in Porto. He was a business coach and he was looking for an assistant, and because his wife was very jealous, the assistant must be a guy, so I had an opportunity with that. So I went to the interview. I didn't know anything about business coaching or anything about business, but one of my colleagues from the college, when I was working at that point, told me that you should go to this interview because maybe it's a good job for you and you should try it. So I went to the interview and I got hired, and at that point I think it was the turning point of my life, because my boss at that point had a really smart strategy. It was an obligation inside his company to read every single day at least half an hour. If you wouldn't read half an hour every single day during your working hours, he would fire you. So I started to read for the first time in my life, because until the age of 24 I just read 2 books, the Bible, because my dad put me to read it, and the second one, if you still remember that compilation of the subjects in Romanian 12 baccalaureate exam. There is one book with all the subjects, so I read it once, so that's the second book that I read. And when I was 24, my boss, Paolo, started to give me books and made me read. And those moments changed my life forever, because since then I read more than 700 books. I invested more than 250,000 euros in trainings, psychologists, online trainings, offline trainings, anything that could make me grow and become smarter and more knowledgeable in business. And after 2 years in this company, I decided to come back to Romania and start my own business coaching company, which of course when I was 26 at that point, and it was pretty hard because I was going to business owners in Cluj, telling them that I would help them to make more money. This was 2008. The economy was booming, so they were laughing at me because I was young and they didn't need any help because the business was growing fast anyway. So I had a lot of struggles. After 6 months, I lost all the money that I put away in Portugal, and don't imagine that it was a lot of money. It was 2,000 euros. And then I lost that money, and then I asked my wife to take the money from our wedding, which was 2,000 euros. I invested those 2,000 euros in the business and I lost them too, because nobody was buying. Imagine I was doing seminars for business owners for 6 months and nobody bought anything, like zero. So in December 2008, I had to decide if I would close the business and go back to Portugal, if I would close the business and just get a job in Romania, or if I would keep on going. And I decided to keep on going 3 more months. I asked some money from my brother and I said 3 more months. If I don't sign any contract in 3 months, then it means it's too early for business coaching in Romania. And this was December 2008. In January 2009, I signed my first client. Restaurantul Shanghai was my first client. I still go back there and eat a lot because I'm so thankful for them. Because if without them, I would go back to Portugal. I don't know. Anyways, in the next 3 months, I signed 4 more clients. One of them, Secpral Pro, which is 40 million euros turnover. One of my first clients, and I started to work as a business coach. After a few years, I switched from business coaching to training because I was enjoying more teaching people than working one-to-one. I lost my patience with business owners. I was telling them what to do, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't know if it's gonna, whatever." I don't have any more patience, so I started to teach them and do whatever you want with the information. I'm not responsible anymore. So I did this until 2019 March, and in March 2019 we launched Upriserz, which is an online platform for business owners and future business owners, and not also for anybody who wants more from their life. It's like a Netflix for people who want more from their life. We sell online trainings for around 10,000 euros value for 19 euros membership per month. So this is what I do right now, and I don't know, maybe you will ask me something about that. So yeah, that's it.
You're stepping in exactly into my first question. But before that,
that's because I looked.
I wouldn't have matched your description about yourself. That's most certain. So you're here tonight for business insights and business acumen and knowledge. So we're going to talk a lot about business today. How was the process of changing your business model? So you went from coaching for you to Upriserz, which is an online platform, like you said, dedicated to Romanian entrepreneurs. How was that for you?
Well, it was much harder than I thought. Actually, just to imagine, in 2018, our turnover was 2 million euros. We were the third largest training company in Romania. The first one is 6.5 million. The second one is 2.3 million. We were the third one with 2 million euros. And when we thought about the opportunity of opening Upriserz, which would be an online platform, we thought, well, this is going to just change everything because it's so cheap to buy training. It's like 19 euros per month. Almost everybody can buy it. Before that, I was selling trainings for 100 euros, 200 euros, and my most expensive training was 1,600 euros plus VAT, so it was like almost 2,000 euros. So a few business owners could afford it. So I was thinking, well, if it's 19 euros per month, I mean, everybody will buy it. So we were really like full with hopes about this project, and we said we are going to make in 2019 6 million euros in turnover. And we had all the calculations and the business plan and everything. So we were, big mistake. Because I was thinking that if my business is in the market already for 12 years, people know me, I have a good brand, I have a lot of clients who bought products in the past. We had like 3,500 people who bought my 2,000 euros program, so I was like, at least those will buy a 19 euros subscription. I mean, it's crazy. But it didn't happen. Imagine that from 3,500 people, just 300 bought the subscription, the 19 euro subscription. So I had 26 employees. Our costs per month were around 120,000 euros. And our turnover in the first month was 22,000 euros. In the second month was 18,000 euros. In the third month was 15,000 euros. In the fourth month was 21,000 euros. So I was spending 120,000 euros, and I was selling around 20,000 euros. So, and this was during a period when I wasn't leading my company. I was out of the company, so the company was run by a CEO. Because my 2 million euros company was already run for 3 years by a CEO, so I decided to give the company to that person to make the change, the transformation from training to the online platform. And after 4 months, I guess, in July, on my birthday, I decided to come back to the company. I fired 12 people in one day. I mean, I just fired one, and she had to fire the rest, because we had an agreement that she would fire everybody she hired, and I would fire the person who I hired. So I just hired her, I would fire her, so she would fire the rest. It was, I think, one of the worst days in my business career, because I loved all those employees and they were great employees, and but they had to go because we had really big costs and small revenue. I came back to the business, I cut all the expenses to zero. I called Vodafone and told them in the next 3 months I won't pay the bills. Okay, so if you want, you can sue me, but I won't pay the bills. If you want to keep me as a client, you have to accept it, otherwise let's sue each other for 3 years and then let's see who will win. So I called all my suppliers and told them to wait with the payments for a few months. just to get back. So I went back to the company in July, on the 1st of July, and July we ended with a 170,000 euros turnover, which was like 3 times all the months before. And since then the company went up. In 15 March we will have 1 year of Upriserz, and I'm pretty sure that we will finish with 1 million euro turnover in the first year, which makes us one of the most successful startups in Romania in 2019. So it was hard. I made some mistakes, but now it's starting to grow.
Since you already mentioned mistakes, what were the 2 most impactful mistakes that you or the team made
in this process?
Yeah, in this process.
Yeah, so one of the biggest mistakes was, as I said, we thought that by launching a new product or a new way of selling our product, everybody would buy because they knew me and they know that I'm good at what I do. And this didn't happen. So when you start, even if you have a business, a successful business, and you start a new business, don't imagine that everybody and all your customers will buy from the first day. You have to still gain their trust and still do all the process that you did with your first business. In the first month struggling, you have to go through that too, so don't make that mistake. That would be one. And the second one, I think we didn't adapt fast enough. So we were seeing that the income is 20,000 euros, we were spending 120, and my team didn't go down with the costs fast enough, so we lost around 400,000 euros in this process.
Oh, wow.
But in the meantime, I mean, we already made it back and we will make much more, so it's not a problem. I think it's impossible to make 1 million euros if you're not willing to lose it. So until you're not prepared to lose 1 million euros, you won't make 1 million euros. It's just impossible. So that's why I think it was a mistake, but it was a good mistake.
Okay. What were the 2 lessons around it? Could you name them lessons in?
Yeah, the first lesson would be, even if you are a successful business owner and you start a startup, go back to the business and do the things that you did in the beginning. So just, I mean, in the last months I worked for 12 hours per day. The same thing that I did like 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure that you do that, because then it can go much faster. Imagine that we reach 1 million euros turnover with the first business in 7 years. We did that in 12 months with this one. So you can go you can grow faster, but you have to go back and you have to do the small things in the beginning. So right now, for example, you were talking about copywriting. I do copywriting in my business. I do the marketing strategy in my business. I fire people, I hire people. So I do the things that I didn't do in the last 4 years in my business, but I had to go back to the basics and just grow it.
Okay. Since we got into a very sweet spot, what would you say that you brought back in terms of activities into growing that business, Upriserz, but they haven't been done before?
Sales.
Sales?
By far, I think. Right now, I'm the most important salesperson in the company. So between March and July, I wasn't in the company all the time. I was doing trainings abroad and stuff like this. So I would be like 3 days or 4 days per month doing sales for Upriserz. Right now, I'm doing every single day. So you can see the difference. Okay. So sales. In the beginning, the most important thing in a startup by far, it's sales. If you don't sell, you're done. So you have to sell. And it's pretty amazing, because some of you were so afraid to stand up and say something about you. And that's selling. And if you're not comfortable with selling yourself in these kind of meetings, it will be really hard to sell your business or your product in a startup. And you really have to be good at selling in the beginning. After a few period, then you can concentrate about building up a team that will sell instead of you. After you think about the processes to make the business work without you, you concentrate more on the finances and managing the business. But in the beginning, marketing and sales is just like the most important thing.
I agree.
Yeah, I know.
Can you tell us, like in 4 or 5 steps, how did you launch Upriserz, or the strategy behind it?
Yeah, we did I mean, we did. That's something interesting, but it's not something that we did. My team did something because I wasn't there. So the team launched the company on 15th of March with a big contest. You would sign up and you would attend 3 webinars, and you can win a MacBook Pro and an iPhone and an Apple Watch and stuff like this, just to make sure that a lot of people would come in. They didn't realize that this kind of prizes would attract people who are not willing to buy necessarily some products. They just want to win the prizes. So we did the contest in the beginning with 3 webinars, and we sold the monthly membership, which was 20 euros, and it was really, really, really bad. I mean, we sold like, I don't know, 40 subscribers, something like that, which is. And then that was the first time when I thought, no, 6 million, no, that's not going to happen this year.
How did you pivot it? What did you do when you came back?
So when I came back in July, I changed the focus of the company from selling the monthly subscription to sell the premium subscription. We have a premium subscription which is 500 euros. At that point it was 300 euros to 290. And I changed the sales strategy from selling the monthly subscription to selling the highest priced product that we had, to bring cash in, and then we can sell the small monthly subscription. So this is also something very interesting. When you start a business, make sure that you have different range of price products. You have a very low entry and small price product, but you also have the high-end product. For example, last week we launched a new product in Upriserz, which is called the exclusive mastermind for 1 year with myself, and it was 3,000 euros per person. So this is our highest price product right now. Until probably in the end of the year, I will launch a mastermind, a personal mastermind, which will be 20,000 euros per year for a person. So we are thinking about having different ranges of prices for any category of client in the market.
Okay.
So, but the first change that I made, it was focusing on the biggest, higher price product to bring more cash in the company.
Any numbers on the mastermind selling?
On the
mastermind selling? Did you already start selling it?
Yeah, we sold it last week. Our goal was to have 20 people. We have 24 people signing up. Okay. And we also have another product, which is the lifetime membership. So instead of paying 400 euros per month or 500 euros per month for the premium membership, you could buy the lifetime membership for 1,500 euros, which is like almost 4 years of membership. So you pay upfront for your whole life the membership for Upriserz. Which is also
congrats on the numbers.
Yeah, which also brought we sold that to this month, and this month I think we will reach, probably, I was checking the numbers before, probably 200,000 euros in just this month in sales.
Okay. We're gonna talk later after.
Yeah.
Going into a more general space, what do you think are the 3 areas that an entrepreneur, a man or a woman running a business, needs when running that business, like finance, or would it be management, leadership, marketing?
3?
Yeah.
It has to be 3?
Okay.
Because I have 6.
Could be more, but...
Okay, so I have 6. I have a pretty clear picture about how should an entrepreneur start a business. So the base, the most important thing is the mindset, the right mindset to start a business, because the way that the entrepreneur thinks influences everything, every single decision in the company. So the right mindset is very important. This is the base of the successful company. Then you have the first pillar, which is the marketing. You have to market your product or service. So you have to, you need to have knowledge in marketing, or you need somebody who has knowledge in marketing. Then the second pillar is sales. It's not enough to promote your product or service. It's very important to be able to sell it. because you will see a lot of young people who are great at marketing. They promote their product or service greatly, but then they suck at selling and they don't make any money because marketing just takes money out of the company. Sales brings the money back. So you need these two pillars in the beginning. Then the third pillar, it's team. You have to build a team. And when I say team, it can be 2 people, it can be 2,000 people. It's still a team. You have to know how to hire a person, how to fire a person, when to hire, when to fire. You need to know how to motivate a person, how to make sure that you find the right person for the right job, and so on. So you need some knowledge in the team field. Then the fourth pillar is systemizing the business. It's about how to build processes and procedures and systemizing the business so that the business starts working without you. You don't have to work all the time. For example, right now I can leave my company for 2 months without any problem and the company still goes on. I would have to do like maybe a 2 or 3 hours filming to do the sales part. But besides that, the whole company runs without me, everything runs without me besides the sales. So this is the fifth pillar, and the last one is finances, which is not last as chronologically, but in my order it's the last one. So finances mean you need to understand what means break-even point, you need to understand what's cash flow, you need to understand what's your acquisition cost, you need to understand what's your average sales on purchase. You have to know some numbers, some key performance indicators in sales, so that you know how to take some good decisions inside your company, because unfortunately most of the business owners in Romania, and it's similar in most of the countries, they just run their business by feeling. Like, I think I'm making money, or I think we are going to make money. And you need to know, I mean, if you have a business right now and I ask you which is your profit margin until now, since the 1st of January, you have to know. Or if you don't know it, you have to just take your phone and check your Google sheet or whatever, and you have to know it, because otherwise you're just trying to find your way in business and it's struggle. Just for your knowledge, in Romania we have 750,000 companies. 200,000 are not working, so they are suspended. So we have 550,000 companies running in Romania. 44% of them have 0 employees. 44% of the all companies in Romania, 0 employees. 22% of them, 1 employee. 9% of them, 2 employees. Which is 75% of the companies, all the companies in Romania have 2, 1 or 0 employees. 96% of the companies in Romania have less than 1 million euro turnover. 96%. And if you go to a meeting with business owners and you ask them, could you tell me on what day was your break-even point this month? They were like, what? What's break-even point? It's some disease? Yeah.
Well,
So this is, so again, mindset, marketing, sales, team, systems, finances, and then you can wait for the results.
I must admit, I haven't read those numbers, although you kind of opened the Pandora box right now, and I think I'm going to start looking at them.
Yeah.
Since we're selling as well in Romania. What is the mindset difference between an entrepreneur that is running a 2 million euro business and a 50,000 euro business?
I think it's mostly about fear.
Okay.
For example, a 50,000 euros business owner is afraid to hire. I don't know if I'm gonna have money to pay the person, or I don't know if I find the right person, or is he going to steal my idea, or is he going to work for me for 1 year and he goes and he opens a business and starts making competition and stupid ideas like this. But I think the biggest mindset difference between entrepreneurs, it's fear. I'm not making 20 million euros right now because I'm afraid. So I'm still afraid. I was afraid for 10 years to do trainings in English. And just to imagine, just some statistics again, because maybe it's helpful for you. In Romania, just only 1% of the active population is investing in learning. after high school and college. So 1% of the active population of Romania, it's 80,000 people. 80,000 people in Romania invest in their education after they finish university. The whole training market in Romania, it's 20 million euros. Yeah. Do you know what's the training market in worldwide? 450 billions. So I'm not making more money because for 10 years I was afraid of doing seminars in English, which is crazy. You know what's interesting? When I decided to do seminars in English, even in Cluj they invite me to speak in English. This is crazy. I mean, in July I have to go to Constanța to do a seminar in English in Romania. I was like, really?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. This year I have 10 times more seminars outside the country than in Romania.
Oh.
Because I'm not afraid anymore.
Then are you doing marketing and sales on that? Or
No,
just
no,
naturally
nothing. Until now, nothing. Just networking. Just networking with the right people, and that's it. And it's crazy because the prices are so different. I mean, if you send your presentation as a speaker to a company in Romania and you tell them, well, my training, a one-day training is, I don't know, 3,000 euros. There's that's kind of expensive, you know. You send your presentation to Canada. I have 2 events in Canada, and you say, well, one day of training it's $6,500, and I was like, that's cheap. Like, okay, well, next time it's 10,000. So
Let's just turn around.
So by far, I think this is the biggest mistake in entrepreneurship: fear. And there are different kind of fears. Fear of hiring in the beginning, then fear of firing, fear of scaling, fear of going international. Some of you have great products and you're still struggling in Cluj or Romania, and I ask you why. Maybe because you are afraid, as I was. So yeah.
We do meet a lot of people, at least in this startup community, which is not yet matured in the tech space. And we meet founders that are afraid. Even us, I'm not saying that we are not afraid, and we have mental blockers, but we do meet a lot of people that are afraid of launching internationally, and how will that elephant be managed and stuff like that. Well, can you give us, I think this is a better one. You have worked with lots of businesses from all kinds of industries. Do you observe a pattern regarding the mindset of the entrepreneurs in Romania? Good patterns, bad patterns, have they changed in these years, 10 years that you have been acting?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there is not such a big change in mindset in the entrepreneurs that I see a lot of times, but we see a lot of new entrepreneurs, young people who start totally differently. I mean, like really, it was interesting because most of you you don't have a business yet. Most of you want to have a business. If I go to Portugal and I have a meeting with 10 young people, just one of them is thinking about opening a business. In Romania, if I speak to 10 young people, 9 of them are thinking about starting a business, and just one of them wants to work for the government, I think, I don't know. So there is a really high spirit of entrepreneurship in Romania, and this is great because young people as you're starting with a different mindset. And I think it's very hard to change the mindset of the old business owners because they grew up in the communism, and they have some really stupid mindsets that they brought from there, and it's really hard to change. And you will see a lot of companies where the business owners just gives the company to the children, and the business just grows because they bring in online and they bring in new technology and they start doing things which is like normal nowadays. So yeah, I think the economy, Romanian economy, is changing a lot, and it's changed a lot in the last years. But it's harder to change the old mindsets of I don't know, established entrepreneurs. A good example would be, you know, who is the richest person in Romania?
Syria?
No,
No.
not
Daniel
anymore.
Dinesh.
Yeah, Daniel Dinesh. That's I think one of the most amazing things that happened last year. First time in our history, the richest person in Romania, it's not a person who made money in some shady ways. It's a technology company. It's valued at billions. It's just, they started like, I don't know, in 2013, I think.
Yeah.
So 15 years ago, 17 years ago. It's just amazing. And this kind of entrepreneurs, I want to see more of them. And I hope some of you are there.
I was watching an interview with you and the CEO of Romania, and just to touch point on this, he was saying that we are a country of loniști, right? Everybody knows what loan means?
No.
Hands up, who knows? Loan, system loan? No. Outsourcing, right? So he was saying,
De ce nu zici așa, mă?
he was saying that we are a country of outsourcing. So I do agree, and I as well, I believe that we need to change the mindset of that. What do you think the upcoming Romanian entrepreneurs need to do to move away from that mindset?
4 years ago, I did an interview for Forbes, and I was telling them, I was speaking about the IT field, and I was like something, well, if the IT companies in Romania don't start to produce some own products and to sell them, own technology and to sell them, and they will be outsourced, in the future years they will just go out of business. And you don't imagine how much hate I got from that, from the IT world. I mean, probably still now half of the IT people hate me because of that. But then 2 years ago or 1 year ago, the owner of Arops came and said the same thing. The owner of Entidata came and said the same thing. So this is something that it's pretty obvious that being outsourced, it's dangerous because you are a good outsource until there is something better. And India and Bangladesh, they are starting to be better because it's cheaper and they have more.
Yeah.
So what technology business owners should do, they should think about building something of their own, a product, an app or a technology or something that they could then export instead of being outsourced from outside.
Do you think your business teachings can be applied as well to the tech entrepreneurs, to the IT entrepreneurs?
It doesn't matter what kind of field you are in with the business principles are the same. But you have to understand that my teachings, my main focus is on small and medium-sized businesses. Mm-hmm. So I teach businesses from 0 to 2 million. I don't teach businesses, I mean, I have some clients who have 20 million, 40 million, 50 million euros turnover, but I do coaching with them, and that's something different. What I teach, it's for businesses from 0 to 2 million. And in that range, I don't care what you sell. I mean, you can sell fruits, or you can sell apps, or you can sell suits, or whatever. The basic principles of the business are the same.
Okay.
Because it's human psychology. And human psychology is the same in Romania, is the same in everywhere. I mean,
do you think Romania is a good place to start a business?
right now, I think maybe Poland would be better, but besides that, Romania, I think it's one of the best markets in Europe for starting a business.
Okay.
And the reason for that, because we have just 30 years of economy, like free economy. So if you start a business in Germany, you need like 100 years to become number one, because the number one has 100 years. So in Romania, the number one has the most 30 years. Imagine Dedeman, they started 25 years ago and they are like huge. So in Romania, if you start a business and you do it right, in 15 years, you can be number one in any field. Which is, I mean, it's a great opportunity.
Yep.
And another reason is because most of the business owners, they just don't have a clue what they do. They just like really, they are not really They just, you go to the business, you start analyzing the business, and ask, how is it possible? How is he making money? It's just crazy. No rules, no KPIs, nothing. So if you do it right, just boom.
Why do you think Poland is better? At least
It's
maybe
bigger.
better.
It's bigger and they have a better government.
Okay.
They're smarter.
Because I've read stuff around how they approach EU funding much smarter than Romania.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
smarter.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they're smarter. They had a better approach because I think Romanian, they're really smart. I worked in Portugal for 6 years, and when I left one of the companies, they had to hire 2 people instead of me. So I think we are smart and we are hardworking. So yeah.
Why do you think there's a gap between how hardworking you are and not being on the same level as maybe Poland or, let's say, Central, not Western Europe, but Central, like Slovak people, Czech people, let's say Austria, but that's too
Well, I
far.
think it's the mindset. They are closer to Germany and other countries, and they were influenced with the right mindset.
Okay.
And we are behind with that. And again, I go back to the fear. Some of us, maybe some of you were raised with stupid conditioning, limiting beliefs like don't dream about being a millionaire. I mean, how many billionaires do we have in Romania?
3.
Yeah, I mean, like, you tell your parents I'm gonna be a billionaire, he was like, what? Are you crazy? You go to, I don't know, a coffee with your friends and you say, I'm gonna be the richest man in Romania. It's like, yeah, sure. So, what I see, on Friday I'm going to Sweden for 4 days to do a training there, and I see the same struggles with business owners there, but at least they're like more confident. I mean, if you tell a young people you can be a billionaire, it's like, yeah, I can, sure, because they have more examples. So yeah, mindset again.
Yeah. You've had several businesses, but
Man, how many questions do I have?
Do you like the interview?
Yes.
Okay, then we can keep going. After this, I'm not going to ask all of them, but I'm just
Yeah, hopefully.
picking them. So you had several businesses, but not all of them were successful. Can you talk about one of the companies that you had to shut down? What went wrong? What was the mindset behind that business?
Yeah. So before that, let me just give you an insight. Don't try to do something stupid that I tried to be. I don't know how you say this in English. Entrepreneur în paralel.
Parallel business?
So basically, don't try to run 2, 3, 4, 5 businesses at the same time. The reason why it's called serial entrepreneur în serie, serial business owner, is because you start a business, you build a business, you sell the business, and you start a business. Or if you don't sell it, you put it to work without you, somebody runs the business, and then you go and open the second business. So at one point in 2016, I had 6 businesses. And well, of course, I just have 24 hours, and I had some amount of money, and your energy and your time and your money must be divided in all those companies, and it was just impossible. So in 2016, I decided to sell all my companies or to close some of them. But I want to talk to you about one of the companies which was a big fail. We had a great idea of starting an online platform. I don't know how many of you did buy a car online. So you searched for the car online. I don't know, mobile.de or stuff like this, Autovit, searching for cars. Okay, so I'm really passionate about cars, and I bought all my cars. I don't go to a dealership and I say, I want this car. I spend like 3 months on mobile.de and I find the perfect car for me, and then I bring it from Germany, and then that's my car. So I did this like for 6 or 7 cars for my wife, for me. So I was spending like all crazy hours searching for the right car. And then a friend of mine who was working in the car industry for a few years, bringing these cars from Germany, he was an employee of one of the biggest companies in Romania in this field, bringing cars from Germany, came to me with an idea. And he was like, Instead of people looking for the cars online, like on website like Autovit or mobile.de, let's build a website where the client goes to the website and says, I would like to buy a BMW 7 Series, I have 40,000 euros, I want to have these options on it, just find me the car. And then we will take that request and send it to all BMW dealership around Europe. And then the salesperson from the dealership, they would just upload their offer and the client would choose the best offer. So the idea behind the platform would be, you don't have to look for your car, search for your car, the car is searching for you. And I said, oh, that's a great idea. So we started to develop the platform. We invested about 6 months, about 60,000 euros in building this platform, in hiring the right people, buying the computers, renting the Sediu Social and everything, stuff like this. And then we launched the business. And in 2 hours we had 323 people signing up and telling, I want to buy this car and I want to buy this car and I have such much money. And I said, wow, this is a huge success. Imagine 300 people telling us, I want to buy this specific car. And we would make money when the dealership would sell the car, we will get a percentage, 1% from the car. So we were like excited. What happened and what went wrong is that after 2 days of receiving more than 500 requests for cars, not even one dealership would upload offers. So just for example, we had 5 BMWs and all cars above 50,000 euros. People who said, I have this money, I want to buy this car, if you find me the right car, then I will buy it. And it was the right price, so it wasn't like smaller prices, it wasn't impossible to find the car. I mean, if I would look on mobile.de, I would find it like in 10 minutes. So we were calling the BMW dealerships in Romania and in Germany and in other countries, and I was like, please, we have 5 BMWs, 5 people who want to buy the BMWs. Could you just upload your offers? But yeah, sure. I'm just busy. I didn't have time. I'm gonna upload it. So nothing. The next day, could you please? And we did it for 2 months. 2 months calling the dealerships, and nobody was uploading the offers. So then we realized that we have to change the business model, and we have to start teaching the car salesperson to sell in a different way. Don't go outside in the market and start looking for clients. We will bring it to you. It's just you have to give us a small amount from your commission and that's it. But they were just too afraid to lose their 1% commission. So they wouldn't. So I didn't have enough money to do this process of educating the salesperson. So I decided to close the business when I lost almost 90,000 euros, and then it's okay, that's enough. I don't do it anymore. So one day, if one of you want to start a business with this kind of platform, I don't know, maybe wedding dresses, instead of going to 1,000 shops and looking for the wedding dress, you just upload what kind of wedding dress do you need, and then you send it out to all the shops. I already have the platform, I can give it to you. So. Yeah.
A nice plugin. Have you ever, we're in the same space, we're staying in the same space. And building on the fact that you had multiple businesses, and you were mentioning at the beginning that you also had a partner, a CEO that running your business. Have you ever thought about the criteria based on which you would choose a business partner? If yes, can you talk about it? And
yeah.
Why does it matter to you?
So first of all, my CEO wasn't my partner. She was just employed. So she wasn't partner in the business.
Okay.
But I had partners. I think in 4 businesses I had partners, and I think just one of them went well. And if I look back, the only common thing in all the 4 businesses is me. So I'm guessing the problem would be me. Because if you have like 10 businesses with 10 different partners and they all go wrong, the only thing which is the same, it's you. The partners are different. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a business owner that it's not working very well with partners. That's why right now I don't have a partner. I mean, my wife is partnering in my business because I can't have two LLCs in just my name for now in Romania. But otherwise, I don't have partners right now. I would like to make partners my employees in the future. So I would like to give them parts of the business if they stay with me long enough. I want to give them part of the business, but I don't need a partner like coming and running the business together with me, because maybe I have like my own ideas. I'm not comfortable in going in a different way that somebody else thinks for my business. But in the meantime, I mean, we see a lot of businesses with partners that are going like great, like Google and Apple and Microsoft and all these great businesses. They started with partners, so I'm not against it. I don't know. I'm not good for partners for now. Maybe I'm still learning and processing the way that I should do that. So
okay.
I couldn't answer the question, what kind of criteria, because I think I'm gonna give some bad answers. So maybe I'm gonna just shut up.
You were saying about giving some stock options to your employees. Do you encourage your employees to think as entrepreneurs?
Yes, I think not everybody should be an entrepreneur, but everybody should think as an entrepreneur. So we call them intrapreneur. And yes, I definitely encourage them. In my company, I don't care if you work 2 hours per day or 10 hours per day. I just give you a key performance indicator, an objective, and you have to reach it, and I don't care. If you come to the office, you don't come to the office, I mean, I really don't care.
You could name yourself a remote-based company?
Yeah. I mean, today, every Wednesday in our company, you can't come to the office. I mean, it's just you have some exceptions that you can come to the office. Otherwise, you can't come to the office. You have to work from your home or from a cafeteria or from the pool or whatever. On Friday afternoon, we don't work. I give them free. All of them can have a free schedule. So if somebody wants to start working at 11 o'clock in the morning, and we have one of our colleagues, she starts at 11 because she lives in Florești, and in order to avoid the traffic, she comes at 11 and she goes at 8. So I really don't care about these kind of things because I'm interested in performance, not in working hours. I know that this is not possible for all the businesses. I mean, you can do that with a shop. I mean, when do you want to come? Just open the shop whenever you want. It's not possible for every business, but in my business and tech companies, probably it's possible.
Have you seen a change, and what change was that between when you did the switch?
Performance growth.
Okay.
Because people, for example, Wednesday is probably the day with the highest performance, because if we are just 10 people in the office right now, but still, if somebody stands up and goes to grab a coffee, everybody is disturbed because we have an open office and then we have the call center in a different office. So on Wednesday, no, you are just alone with yourself. So you are able to be much more productive on those days. And when I give the Friday afternoon free to them, all the time they are focused on Friday to finish everything, all the tasks that they have until 1:30 in the afternoon, so that they can leave and everything is done. So they are more concentrated, more performance, because they have more free time. And I'm thinking about giving a full day as free on maybe Friday or Monday. I'm not sure yet about that.
You're buying the Swedish model, the 6 hours working day.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I think that's false news about Norwegians and Swedish people. But yeah, I don't think it's very smart to. I think employees also need an environment, a place to come, an office, and I think it's very healthy to work, like really healthy. If you work 5 days a week or 4 days a week, I don't know if it's a big difference, but it's healthy to work. If you give like 3 days free, 2 days free, I don't think it will improve the company or the life of the person, because then he has to think about what I'm going to do in the free day. And people start getting bored. And there are some studies made up after holacracy. This is a different kind of approach of running a business. They made some studies that companies who are giving too much freedom to the employees, at a certain point, the performance start to go down.
Okay.
So you have to find the right balance.
I'm gonna switch a bit.
Yeah, sure.
You always talk about happy wife, happy life. What do you do daily or weekly to balance the work-family life?
If you think about the word balance, balancing means that you are never like standing perfectly, always balancing. So for me, balancing my work and my family is sometimes I work a lot and then I balance back and I spend a lot of time with my family. For example, yesterday I had a webinar starting at 10 p.m. for the Romanians living abroad.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to start late because in London it was 8. Today I'm here. On Friday I'm going to Sweden. So it's like 2 or 3 weeks with really long hours every day. But then I go 2 weeks to the States with my wife. So what I do, we take 3 months vacation every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's pretty good. And since we changed from the coaching to coaching for you to Upriserz, in 2018 I slept in a hotel room 169 times in 1 year. And if you start calculating that I need sometimes a day before, then you sleep one night and then you need one more day to get back to Cluj. It's like more than 250 days in 2018 I was gone traveling, and we had at that point a 1-year-old daughter, so it was pretty hard for my wife. But since we changed the business model, this year I have just only one event in Romania, and then I have some travels outside to Canada, to the US, to Sweden. But most of the conferences that I do outside, I bring my wife with me. Mm-hmm. She just travels and goes to shopping when I'm teaching, and then we go and spend some days together. So she loves that I have contracts outside because then she can travel and shop. So, yeah, happy wife, happy life. Yeah, so something maybe more profound that I would like to give you is if you are married or if you're thinking about getting married, make sure that you find out what's your values and your wife or your husband's values. So my values is my most important value is business. I thought for years that it was family, but it's not true because I was spending more time in business. So I was lying when I was telling my family is my most important thing, but then I was spending 10 hours working. So my biggest value is business. My second biggest value is money, making money, and my third one is family. Gladly, my wife's biggest value is family, second biggest is traveling, and third is fashion. So it's perfect because she's taking care of the family, and I'm taking care of the money so that she can live the second and the third value, traveling and shopping. So she's very happy that I can live my values because she knows that this way she can also live hers. So we stopped fighting in our marriage when we realized that both of us have different values and different purposes in life, and both of the purposes, they just fit perfectly together. Then she was like, until then she was always upset that when I was leaving, oh, you are leaving again. Now when I'm telling I'm going to Canada for 1 week, I was like, great, I'm happy for you. Go live your values. And then she was like, okay, but don't forget the credit card. So I'm joking.
I have 2 questions, maximum 3, and I think that's going to be a wrap.
Yeah.
Are
we going to take questions from the room or not?
Yeah. Have you been through a healing process as a man? And if yes,
what kind of healing? Be more specific, please.
Spiritual healing, emotional,
yeah,
conditional. which we have, how did you overcome those parts? What kind of techniques did you use over there?
Okay, so I will go with emotional, because I think that was the biggest healing that I needed. I mean, I still need it. I'm in the process. In the last 2 years, I'm working on a weekly basis with psychologists to erase all the stupid limitations from my head, my limiting beliefs, and also to heal some really, I don't know, hard moments from my childhood. My father was a very strong character, and I was beaten a lot of times, which also brought a lot of good things and a lot of bad things. And what I've been doing in the last years working with psychologists was to accept that everything that happened to me in my childhood was perfect for the man that I became today. Because if I accept those moments that I was really upset with my father, then I can move forward. I can impact more people. Before, if I'm not healing the past, my childhood, I would be focusing on my parents, on my family, and then my impact would be just my family. So when I heal my family, then I can move forward. When I started to healing people around me, so if you follow me, you will see a huge difference how I react to hate from 2018 to 2020. In 2018, somebody wrote an article about me, a bad article, and well, all of them are like really lies, but it doesn't matter. I would just attack them, and I would write an article on my blog, and I would explain that this is not true, and this is not like this, and stuff like this. Right now, I don't care. And why? Not because, I don't know, because I started to work with psychologists and help me to not to focus on the people around me, because my mission is much bigger. And if I don't start healing the relationship around me, I won't go further to impact the world. So I think our impact is in circles. The first circle that we can impact is our family, then it's our company or our employees or colleagues, then it's our neighborhood, then it's our city, then it's our region, then it's our country, then it's Europe, and then it's the world. So for me, I feel that it's the first time that I'm moving outside Romania and start, okay, this is okay, but let's go to the next level. And that's a healing process, an emotional healing process. It's not about strategy. The strategies are the same. Marketing is the same. Business is easier outside. So I mean selling our product. So I don't know. It's just healing yourself and going to the next level.
Is that something that every entrepreneur has to do? The spirit, the emotional and psychological healthiness?
You don't have to do it. I mean, if you want to stay small, you don't need to do it. But I think all the entrepreneurs who grew multi-millionaire or billionaire companies, they did it. Maybe with psychologists, maybe other ways, but they did it. Because it's impossible to help millions of people if you're worried about your past with your father. It's just impossible. You're just spending too much time, energy, and thinking about the one time that he beaten you up. So it's impossible. You don't have to do it, but if you want $1 billion business, you need to do it, yeah.
Lorand, thank you very much.
Sure, my pleasure.